Well, hey everybody, this is me, and this will be my story. Um, don't sure how I feel about doing this. It's a little weirded out putting it out there, but we're gonna do it anyways. Now, most people, a lot of people, I should say, now know pretty much the last year of my life story. That is the factor of losing a bunch of weight and everything, and recovering my health. But I want to take you back, and I'm going to bring you through my whole story because this will resonate for a lot of people, and I understand that now after talking to so many people. Going back towards the teens, family life did whatever. However, that's when I started drinking, getting into drugs, and all that other weird stuff that people do during their teenage years. And I got to the point where it was getting a little excessive, getting a little crazy, which things happen. And when I was 21, I thought I could get away from the problems by joining the military. I spent 3 years in the Army, got out with the honorable discharge, thank God, but it really just compounded the problems as far as with drinking and everything. That being one thing. And then I was in my early 20s when I got out of the Army. I got introduced to various other substances, so low enough to say most of the 20s, my early 30s are pretty much a blur, because I spent a good various portion of it snorting, smoking, doing whatever I could to get drinking down, whatever, you name it. When I hit 30, I went out to Oregon, and I was just on a whim. I just moved out to Oregon, which might have been a little nuts for me, to say the least, because I didn't know anybody. Got out there and actually met up with some really bad crew and really compounded the issues as far as chemical-wise, and the amount of things that went down the system was a little insane. I ended up pretty much homeless. Might as well have been. The place I was living at was pretty freaking ridiculous. Now, if it wasn't for my older brother and a good friend of ours getting me out of there and getting me back home, I'm not sure I would be here talking to you today. So I owe them my life, and I'm always forever grateful for that. Now, all that being said, most of my 30s, I started trying to clean up myself and everything. And 2007 is when I got down here to Florida. And I started trying to really just clean myself up. I don't know how I managed to do so, but I just pretty much stopped cold turkey with everything. And that was my game plan, was to just stay clean. I did pretty well. That was until 2010, 2011. When, while laying in bed, I started getting all these crazy jerks, and I didn't know where they were coming from, what the heck was causing them. So I went in for a battery of tests. Comes out, you got diagnosed with epilepsy. Woohoo, that sounds like a great time. And being the ever good patient, without knowing anything better, I just started popping pills, because the doctor said to pop pills. And lo and behold, these medications, these anti-seizure medications, were causing more problems than good. They were slowing down some of my seizures, not stopping them, slowing them down. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept taking them. I was going through side effects of gaining huge amounts of weight, losing some weight, gaining huge amounts of weight, seeing things, horrifying things where I almost had to lock up my brakes on the highway a couple times. I was almost like one of the worst drugs ever, and I've been through my fair share. Anyway, now that I'm just rambling on about all that stuff, before the seizures started, in 2010, I tried to get myself back in shape and try to get myself healthy by running. And I ran 4 or 5 half marathons up until the seizure point. And once the seizures started and the medications kicked in, I could no longer run, because of the factor I was so doped up and I didn't know where I was half the time. The medications really ended up destroying a relationship I had at the time, which I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, I, on a whim, bought my house all doped up on anti-seizure medications. I didn't even remember doing so, which is kind of crazy. But I spent the next 3 to 4 years going through from end of 2011 on. I spent the next 3 or 4 years popping over up to upwards of 16 different medications. Now, taking all these different medications, again, not doing it much good because of the mood swings, weight gain, depression, you name it, all that crazy stuff could happen. In 2014, my now wife mentioned she was pregnant. And while that should have been the happiest thing in the moment and the happiest thing in the world, all that was actually going through my mind was, holy crap, am I ever going to actually be able to hold my son or my kid? Because I didn't know at the time, but am I ever going to be able to hold my kid? What the heck is going to happen if I have a seizure while I'm holding this kid? Would I hurt him? Would I kill him? And that's just some of the thoughts that went through my mind because I was afraid of what was going to happen with the seizure. And I started looking long and hard at different things out there as what I could possibly do. So once he was born, it became a bigger and bigger issue. And early to mid 2015, I came across some supplements, just like natural supplements and nutrition. And I came across some information about ketogenics and ketosis and what it could do for kids for epilepsy. I talked to my neurologist about it. My neurologist discouraged me from doing it, saying that it was mainly for kids. I, being the stubborn Irishman I am, decided to say, I'm going to give this a try. And at this point, I'm weighing well over 230 pounds, probably, actually it was around 240 to 245 pounds, and at about 45% body fat at the time. And this was in June of 2015. And I promise I'm wrapping this up shortly, people. And 2015, the weight plummeted as soon as I learned about the ketogenics and I started implementing it into my life. Getting really into watching how much I was eating, watching what I was eating, and learning about the macros and learning about the height, the ups and downs, and everything that it could do for the body. And overall, I dropped from 245, I'm now at 180. So there's the math for you. That's 65 pounds. I'm no longer on any medications. I reversed my sleep apnea that I had, which I don't know if that was from the weight or the other stuff I've done in my life. All that's been gone. Like I said, the seizures are gone. I'm off of all the medications. I'm able to hold my son anytime I want without worrying about what could possibly happen, because I know that the seizures, I no longer have to worry about the state trying to take my license. Life has changed around so dramatically. And a little boost on top of it was learn about exogenous ketones. After being on ketosis for a year, it gets hard, and it gets really hard trying to stay in ketosis just through diet alone. Exogenous ketones have been absolutely a huge trigger for me to push my ketosis even further. At the same time I found the exogenous ketones, I also found CrossFit and CrossFit Boot Camp, which the combination of the two, which was late March, early April of 2016, the combination of the two now, it's been 3 months, give or take, have been an absolute blessing. I'm down to 18% body fat, where a year ago was at 45% body fat, so close to 30% body fat gone, which is absolutely amazing for me. And seeing the pictures and the differences really blows my mind. But that catches you up to pretty much now. Ketogenics has been an absolute lifesaver for me. Knocked away medications, knocked away sleep apnea. I'm by no means a doctor, and I'm not claiming that any of this cured me by any means, so don't take it as that. I just know what has happened to me through dietary changes and exercise and doing the right thing and checking in with the doctors and let them know what's going on has been kept me going. All that being said, that's my story. Went from problem drinker, problem drugs, cleaned myself up, big old medical issues coming up. This is roundabouts. And as a veteran, going out to all the people out there that feel that they're alone sometimes, if at any means you need to reach out to another veteran, I'm not a combat veteran. I would never claim to be, but I am a military veteran. And if any veteran out there ever needs to talk or has any problems, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you all out. Anyway, folks, hope you all doing great. And I'm gonna head out of here. That's been over almost 11 minutes now. Sorry, didn't mean to drag on. But if anybody ever has any questions and wants to talk to me about this, let me know. And I will be happy to tell you my story in person. I'll be happy to talk to anybody in person about it. And if I can help them, let me know and I'll be happy to do so. Take it easy. God bless, people.